how a woman covers her hair shows what community she belongs to. So Chabad women, shaitels all the time, wigs. Also, Haredi women wear wigs mostly on Shabbos. During the week, I mean, they wear like a tichor, like a snood, right? The Hasidic women, if it's not Shabbos, they'll wear one of these like ugly turbans, right, with like a little like medallion on it. It looks like Will Smith in Aladdin. But on Shabbos, it's funny. Most people don't know that groups like Satmar, and I don't know if Bells does this also, that the women shave their heads after they get married. They shave their heads and they wear, I mean, they wear a wig, but a partial wig. They wear a hat, and then it's a wig that only comes up to the front.
What a shame.
You know? Right, so if that girl would get in a fight with a Puerto Rican girl, where they tear that little piece off, it looks like it's just the bangs. You know, the bangs is like a wig. But that's more in Satmar, like they're called B'nai Yol. There's factions within Satmar, right? There's the Aronis, you know, who believe that the current Rebbe, Rav Aaron Teitelbaum, is the real Rebbe. And then there's the Zalmis who believe that Rav Zalman Leib is like the real successor to Rav Yoelish. You know, so they live in Williamsburg. And then there's the B'nai Yol who believe that Satmar should become like Lubavitch and have no successor to, Rav Yoelish, Rav Yoel Teitelbaum. So yeah, so the B'nai Yol are the ones who are known for sure to shave their heads, but there's many Hasidic groups that the women shave their heads. Wraps.
So hold on before you move on to the wigs. I want to stay on the wigs for a second. Rabbi Misraki, I know our favorite rabbi. We all love him. He absolutely hates wigs, and he goes every other YouTube video of him is him dissing on the wigs and saying it's evil and sin, and it's a sin. Is it really that bad to have a wig? It's a
Sephardi thing. Rav Ovadia Yosef was one who made this wig hatred popular, at least in Israel. I remember when he came out with his ruling that wigs were forbidden to wear. I mean, he was a Sephardi posek. I mean, he didn't paskin for Ashkenazim, although he felt that everyone should listen to his Pasach Halacha. So people they were like mountains of wigs in places like Mir Sharim and Geula burning. People would burn them things. And this is because wigs were coming from India. The majority of the hair, of the original human hair used for wigs.
They're from idol worshippers. Yeah.
Right. It's a form of idolatry. I mean, avodah zarah means it's a service, right? It's a foreign, weird type of service. Is a way
and you can't benefit from idol worship, but you can benefit from someone that uses
Right. You know, so they actually sent someone to India to investigate it, to make sure if it's real idol worship. Well, they concluded it was at least enough to convince Rav Ovadia Yosef, and this is why Rabbi Mizrahi and his student Yaron Reuven, they make a big stink about it. I'm not convinced. I mean, first of all, not all wigs have to come from India. I would say, I mean, just like not every black cat has to be a Borsalino. The vast majority of girls, but they just don't say it in the Haredi world, they're not wearing real hair, okay? I mean, that's like the real rich girls, who what's that, Ricky's, or what's the hat? I mean, there's a specific, shaitel company that all like the rich Jappy girls in New York buy it from. But the cry in the Sephardi world is not that Indian wigs are asur, but all wigs are asur.
Well, they have another point, is that it makes the women more beautiful than what they should be, and that they consider that a sin as well. That they shouldn't be making them a married woman shouldn't be beautifying themselves to the point where it attracts other men.
All right, so that's conjecture. In other words, that's just opinion, because if the halakha doesn't forbid it, then why not? I'm actually an advocate for wigs. Most people don't know that. I mean, I think that.
No, Shonda, beautiful women have beautiful hair. Why would you want to?
It's very hard for women. I mean, this is probably one of the hardest mitzvot, for them to take upon themselves, especially if she's a convert or like a Balas Tshuva. Like for her to have to cover her hair and just look like a housekeeper or something. The argument, the big question is covering your hair. Hair's an erva. It's considered a form of nakedness. Is that a Torah prohibition or it's a rabbinic prohibition? So Rashi ties it into the whole Sota situation, right? It says that the Kohen Gadol would remove the kalata, the basket off the woman's head, and the hair would come down and it would shame her. Okay, fine. Well, that could be like a source. But the reason we cover our hair and the way we cover our hair and the prohibitions and all that is pretty much rabbinic. under Safek Derabanan Lehakel, that if you have a question on the execution of rabbinic law, you're commanded to be lenient. Then what's the most lenient way that a woman could cover her hair and still not be shamed? It's by wearing a wig. Trust me.
Why not? Why not? That's just a silk, a silk string or something. Some sort of. What about a bandana?
No, just covering their hair. I mean, they want to show it off. I'm sure you've been to a Chabad and you see on the other side of a room like a beautiful head of hair, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, look at that hair!" And then it turns around, it's like the crypt keeper, right? So hair does something of it. It works, and it's very painful to tell someone to cover it. So, being that we're commanded to be lenient, if we question the execution of a law, make a sheitel. I mean, you could be like Rabbi Mashash, right? So all the Orthodox people, especially for some reason in the Rambamist camp, I don't know why, but like they're like, oh well, no one even has to cover their hair because Rabbi Mashash, which is he was a rabbi in Egypt. Anyways, he ruled that women don't even have to cover their hair. But I read his tshuva, and he doesn't give a valid reason for it. I mean, he pretty much says, because women aren't going to do it anyways, we're just going to remove the prohibition, so they wouldn't be liable for breaking anything. That's stupid. So let's not fall into extremes. Like if a woman wants to cover her hair but wants to look normal, I mean, let her wear a wig, right? These guys, I never heard them mention that as an option. Like Rabbi Mizrahi or Rabbi Yaron Reuven, right? They'll say, not that some wigs are forbidden, but all wigs are forbidden. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we're still rabbinic Jews here. Al pi halacha, a woman could cover her hair with a wig. And there's another source in Talmud Yerushalmi that says that women used to wear wigs back then. Wigs back then in the same manner. And I think I bring down the source in my video on head covering for women.
Because what Mizrahi would say, I heard him say once, is that you can't tell whether someone is married or single if everybody's wearing wigs. And then one guy will wind up talking to a married woman by mistake. And, it's a big sin right there, so it's better to just...
All right. So this is why these hangouts are so important. Because you guys could come here and call me an idiot, and I could call you an idiot, and it's beautiful. That when these guys have these monologues and no one's kind of like checking them, but they don't know that the halacha is that all women have to cover their hair. All women. Clearly, it says this not just in the Rambam, it says it in Shulchan Aruch explicitly. It says a penuya, an almana, a garusha. That means a single woman, a married woman, a divorcee, they all have to cover their hair. Okay.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, that's the halacha.
I can't tell you how many of the rabbis' daughters I see. They walk around, they're 20, 25 years old, and they don't have anything covered.
Of course. No,
we're talking about Chabad rabbis' daughters, too. We're not talking about...
So this practice of women not covering their hair, single women, is really post-World War II. There's pictures of communities in Europe where younger women, they all covered their hair, right? For sure, in Yemenite communities, all women covered their hair because that was a halacha. They took the opinion of the Beis Shmuel. The Beis Shmuel is a commentator who basically said that, sort of like dissected that portion in Even HaEzer, like of the Shulchan Aruch, and he's like, oh, well, this in some way could imply that only married women should cover their hair. So because of one commentator, like an Achron, I'm not talking even a Rishon, everyone changed their whole stance, right? But that's not what the halacha says. That's not what the Rambam says for sure. Not. That's not what the Shulchan Aruch says, and that's not what the Talmud says. But people, they're like, oh, we go by Shulchan Aruch, we go by halacha. These guys, they don't even know where they're freaking standing. This is why, when these monologues are quick, all these guys are free to enter this chat and challenge me.
I get a little frustrated sometimes with the hangouts because it's like you're preaching, and we're trying to do our best here to get these people that are, get Torah, and it's almost like these people are so stubborn. They don't want to. It just pisses me off sometimes. So it's like
they're heavily brainwashed.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to liberate you. I'm like, you know what? Keep Torah like you're a Jew, even though the Jewish people don't accept you as a Jew. Just have that relation with God and say, you know what? I know that you're speaking to me. Like when you're speaking to the children of Israel, I accepted Torah just like the children of Israel accepted Torah. I converted officially, but I'm just saying, like for someone who hasn't had an official conversion, if you accept Torah, how the mixed multitude and the Israelites accepted Torah on Mount Sinai, then you are just as much in the covenant as they are. That Torah belongs as much to you as it belongs to an Ethiopian Jew or Haredi Jew. It's not you and us. We're all in this together. But they're, oh no, you're a Gentile. You should be proud to be a Gentile and keep 7 laws and Oh yeah, by the way, you have a soul on the level of an animal, and your soul comes from the Sitra Achra, and this is why they shot up that synagogue in San Diego, because the guy was listening to all this Chabad, rhetoric about how like non-Jews are inferior and this and that, and no one challenges them. So this is one test. Why is it that all these people who claim, oh well, this guy's my rabbi on YouTube, this is my rabbi, one litmus test, if your rabbi is worthy of the title, does he ever call groups out for bigotry? Never. I've never heard anyone. I never heard Tovia Singer. I never heard Michael Skolbeck. I never heard Rabbi Mizrahi or Reuven. I mean, they're fighting some stupid thing like freaking Wigs or bashing Christians. I mean, like they're fighting the wrong battles here. But we have people making our religion look ridiculous, and these people are staying quiet. I remember I put out a post. I put out a video that we should excommunicate all the Syrian rabbis who support the ban on conversions. Like most people know that Syrian Jews do not accept converts, right? But they have a tradition as of 1905, started in Argentina by Rabbi Sutton, right? Sounds like Satan, Rabbi Sutton. And it was ratified in 1955. Even Avraham Cook signed into it. This is why Israel doesn't accept converts from South America. But Syrian Jews don't accept converts from anywhere, right? This is against the Torah. So I said, let's excommunicate all the Syrian rabbis till they stop this nonsense. Rabbi Avada Yosef converted a girl, wrote her a letter, and this girl moved to Flatbush, which is one of the biggest Syrian communities in Brooklyn, and the rabbi still refused to accept her conversion. It's already a freaking shanda. So Rabbi Yaron Ruman says, well, take the post down. I'm like, what, are you freaking crazy? And he's like, oh, these are big Gedolim, and who are you to challenge them? I'm like, this is already, guys, like Dave Chappelle, like you ever seen like Keep It Real? Like his little Keep It Real skit, right? Everything's like slow motion, right? Got to keep it real, blah, blah, right? These guys don't keep it real. This is already, that's a form of idolatry. When you're like, well, you can't question this guy because look at the size of his beard, right? I'm thinking Torah. John's thinking boxers or briefs. It's all a form of homosexuality. Everyone's in on it, damn it. People ask, like, why I'm always bashing these guys? Yeah, because these guys continually doing their habitual line crossers. They cross the line with stupid crap.